Unbelievably strange and bizarre. Historical facts you won't believe, but are completely true. Part 1. Australia. In 1967, Australia declared war on emus, launching the Great Emu War. The military was sent to cull emus that were damaging crops, but the emus proved a resilient opponent. Japan. In feudal Japan, ninja were known to use sneezing powder. They would throw a mixture of pepper, seeds, and other irritants into their opponent's face to create chaos during battles. Egypt. Ancient Egyptians used honey as a form of contraception. They believed it could block the cervix, preventing pregnancy. Canada. In 1837, there was a rebellion in Canada, and one leader, William Lyon Mackenzie, attempted to declare a new republic in Toronto. The rebellion failed, but it was an unusual episode in Canadian history. Greece. The philosopher Diogenes lived in a barrel in Athens and was known for his eccentricity. He would walk around with a lantern in broad daylight, claiming to be searching for an honest man. Part 2. France. The French kiss originated from a custom in the Middle Ages where nobility would kiss each other's lips to prove they weren't concealing poison in their mouths. USA. The Philadelphia experiment in 1943 was an alleged naval experiment to make a warship invisible. The story involves time travel and mysterious disappearances. Greece. In ancient Greece, a practice known as symptotic vomiting involved partygoers intentionally inducing vomiting to continue feasting during banquets. China. In ancient China, there was a form of punishment called waist chop, where a person's body was cut in half horizontally, resulting in a gruesome execution method. USA. In 1950, the US military planned to use bats as living bombs. They intended to attach tiny incendiary devices to bats and release them over Japanese cities during World War II. Part 3. USA. In the early 20th century, the US government hired a chief mouser to control the White House's rodent problem. The first official cat in this role was named Tom Quartz. China. During the Tang Dynasty, some Chinese aristocrats had antler gowns made from real deer antlers as a symbol of their status. France. In the 17th century, there was a craze for tulip mania in the Netherlands. People invested their life savings in tulip bulbs, and the bubble eventually burst, causing a financial crash. India. In ancient India, a practice known as suti involved widows self-immolating on their husband's funeral pyre. This was considered a virtuous act in some communities. Italy. In Renaissance Italy, people believed that the wearing of a unicorn horn could protect them from poison, illness, and death. Part 4. Canada. In 1837, there was a rebellion in Canada, and one leader, William Lyon Mackenzie, attempted to declare a new republic in Toronto. The rebellion failed, but it was an unusual episode in Canadian history. Greece. The philosopher Diogenes lived in a barrel in Athens and was known for his eccentricity. He would walk around with a lantern in broad daylight, claiming to be searching for an honest man. USA. During the 19th century, Phineas Gage survived a severe brain injury when an iron rod was driven through his skull. Remarkably, he continued to live but with a radically changed personality. China. In ancient China, there was a belief in human leather, where skin from executed criminals was used to make various items, including wallets and shoes. Canada. In 1837, there was a rebellion in Canada, and one leader, William Lyon Mackenzie, attempted to declare a new republic in Toronto. The rebellion failed, but it was an unusual episode in Canadian history. Part 5. USA. In the early 20th century, radium was considered a miracle cure for everything. People consumed radium-infused products like radium water, which led to severe health issues. Egypt. Ancient Egyptians used crocodile dung as a form of contraception. They believed it to be an effective spermicide and used it in various methods of birth control. China. In ancient China, corpse walkers were people who could reanimate the dead using a mix of mercury and vinegar, using them as cheap labor. Canada. In the 18th century, a spotted lake in Canada fascinated locals with its 365 separate pools, each with a different mineral composition, creating a surreal landscape. Greece. The Greek philosopher Chrysippus died of laughter after giving his donkey wine and watching it try to eat figs. Part 6. Italy. In Renaissance Italy, it was believed that some women's hair was so toxic that it could kill snakes on contact, a phenomenon known as venomous hair. Japan. During the Edo period in Japan, men wore elaborate and decorative kimonos with intricate designs, which often weighed up to 44 pounds, showcasing their status and fashion sense. Mexico. The Chapultepec Castle in Mexico City was once home to Emperor Maximilian I and Empress Carlota. They ruled Mexico briefly, with Maximilian meeting a tragic end by firing squad. Germany. During the 17th century, people believed in the existence of Nuremberg eggs. Mechanical self-playing musical instruments in the shape of eggs. Scotland. The Pineapple War occurred in Scotland in the 18th century, when Sir George Bruce built a house with a pineapple-shaped tower, leading locals to believe it was a sign of wealth. This resulted in an attempted theft of the pineapple. Did you enjoy learning about these fascinating facts? Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment for more incredible top 5 infotainment. Thanks for watching.